Okay, good morning. So, our lesson for today is, of course, lesson 1, preparing egg dishes. All right, so, um, part of, okay, so one of the lessons that you will learn in Cookery 10 is uh, preparing different kind of egg dishes. So, it's very important na marunong tayo magluto ng eggs. Yeah, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, learning outcome 1, perform mise en place. We have two objectives. First is to identify egg components and its nutritive value, and second, identify and prepare ingredients according to a standard recipe. Alright, so let us define first kung ano muna yung eggs. Yan. Eggs refers to a poultry or fowl products. So when you say poultry or fowl, so you can see nga dyan sa picture I presented one example of a poultry. Yung kilalang kilala ninyo, of course, are chickens. Yan. So meron iba-iba pang klase ng poultry. Eggs can also be, pwede din naman na yung ducks, itik, yan. So, they are also laying eggs, di ba? Next, let us proceed with the structure of eggs. So, physical structure. We are talking about the physical structure. So, when you say physical structure, yung panlabas na itsura ng eggs. Pero ano yung panlabas? Of course, yung nasa loob, they are also physical structure. Yan. Yan. So first, yung pinakaunang makikita ninyong part ng egg is the shell. The egg's outer covering. Yan. So, yun nga, yung white na nakikita ninyo. Pero, not all eggs a color white. So, if if you are able to go to marketplace or in groceries, meron kayong makikitang mga eggs na color brown. So, sabi nila, those are organic eggs. Ayan. So, shell is the egg's outer covering. The shell accounts for about 9 to 12% of its total weight, depending on egg size. The shell is the egg's first line of defense against bacterial contamination. So, kapag very fresh pa ang eggs, konting hangin lang ang nakakapasok sa kanya kasi it is protected by the shell. However, if matagal na siya na nandito sa labas, halimbawa, tagal na siyang nasa labas, ayan, the shell becomes more porous. Okay, ibig sabihin, marami ng mga maliliit na butas doon sa shell para doon dumaan yung hangin. So, kapag ang isang itlog ay napasukan na ng hangin, definitely, ang result nun is magiging bulok na siya kasi meron ng hangin sa loob. Ayan. So, as you can see, yan po, nakikita nyo dyan, it's the eggshell. Next structure is the air cell. The air cell is the empty space between the white and shell at the large end of the egg, which is barely existent in newly laid egg. When an egg is first laid, it is warm. As it cools, the contents contract and the inner shell membrane separate from the outer shell membrane to form the air cell. So there are instances na makikita po ninyo sa itlog kapag halimbawa gumawa kayo ng hard-boiled egg, so nilagang itlog. There are times na makikita nyo na parang may curve na linya doon, curve na part sa loob ng itlog kasi 'di ba kapag binalatan niyo na siya, there are instances na hindi perfect yung pagkakabilog ng egg. So, merong part na parang curve doon. So, yun yung nagiging air cell. Next, we have the albumen or egg white. Yan. Siyempre, aside sa egg shell, alam nyo naman kung ano yung tinatawag na albumen or egg white kasi very visible siya. Kapag niluto nyo yung itlog, makikita nyo yung egg white agad. Okay? So, albumen, also called egg white, accounts for most of an egg's liquid weight, about 67%. This is produced by the oviduct and consists of 4 alternating layers of thick and thin consistencies. So, kapag hindi pa naluluto yung itlog, makikita nyo siya na parang it looks like a very clear liquid. Diba? Kapag you're just trying to break it and then nilagay nyo sa platito, yan, or sa bowl, makikita nyo yung color ng albumen or egg white is crystal clear. So, hindi pa siya nagiging totally opaque na magiging color white siya. Kasi magiging white siya if niluto nyo na siya. Yan, kasi yung clear na liquid na yon nagko-coagulate, yung proteins doon nag-coagulate. Kapag naluto na siya, magiging white na yung color niya. Okay, so egg white. Next, physical structure of egg is the chalaza. This is the ropey strands of egg white at both sides of the egg, which anchor the yolk in place in the center of the thick white. Ayan, so chalaza, usually hindi naman natin yan nakikita kapag naluto na or kapag fresh pa lang yung eggs. Halimbawa, we break the egg, yan. So, hindi siya masyadong visible. Okay po. Pero there are times na may makikita kayong parang lines na parang curve lines ulit. Pero very, minimal lang, konti lang na linya. So, yung chalaza, ang purpose niya is to hold the egg yolk. Parang, i-maintain siya na nandun lang siya sa center. Okay, so yun yung purpose ng chalaza. Next, we have the germinal disc. Ayan. This is the entrance of the latebra, the channel leading to the center of the yolk. The germinal disc is barely noticeable as a slight depression on the surface of the yolk. So, makikita nyo dyan sa picture, ang germinal disc ay nandoon na sa egg yolk na part. It's the entrance of the latebra, the channel leading to the center of the yolk. Ayan. Usually, kasi kapag ang purpose natin, hindi naman lutuin yung egg. For example, your purpose is para maging sisiw siya. So, dyan na nade-develop yung fetus, yung sisiw. Dyan magsisimulang mag-develop sa germinal disc. Yeah, next is the membranes. There are two kinds of membranes, one just under the shell and the other covering the yolk. These are the shell membrane and the vitelline membrane. Ayan. So, there are still other physical structures of egg na hindi masyadong visible in our eyes. Yan. Kasi, yung membranes, parang sobrang nipis lang niya. Okay, sobrang nipis lang niya. May dalawang klase. One just under the shell and the other covering the yolk. So, yung under the shell, kapag nag-cook kayo ng hard-boiled egg, mapapansin niyo na parang merong plastic doon sa shell. 'Di ba tinatanggal nga natin siya. So, that is the membrane. Parang naluto na siya. Kaya ganun na yung texture niya. Okay? Next. Ayan. So, kilala ninyo, of course, the yolk. The yolk, or the yellow to yellow-orange portion, makes up about 33% of the liquid weight of the egg. Ayan, so, yolk, yung itlog, sabi nila, ano yun? Yung pula daw ng itlog. Pero, syempre, what we can see is, ang color niya is yellow. Ayan, so, ito yung para sa akin, yung yolk, ito yung parang mas, ano yan? Kilala natin. Aside sa shell, sa egg white. So, yung pinaka-center ng itlog is the egg yolk. Yan. So, 33% of the liquid weight of the egg. Yan. So, maliit lang siya compared doon sa egg. Pero, there are instances naman na merong malalaking egg yolk. Like, for example, yung mga jumbo sizes ng mga eggs. So, yung egg yolks nila, definitely, malalaki din. And there are also chances na merong sa isang itlog, merong dalawang egg yolk. It happens. Yan. So, usually, kung magiging sisiw sila, parang kambal na sisiw din. Ganun. Yeah, next. Yan. So, move lang natin kasi ayan. After learning or explaining the physical structure, we now proceed to the nutritive value of eggs. Ayan. So, this is the reason why ang itlog ay hindi basta-bastang naaalis sa dishes ng different cuisines. Like for example, in Filipino, sa atin, mahilig tayong gumamit ng egg as an ingredient to our dishes. Likewise, in other countries, so they also fond of using eggs. So, iba-iba ang itlog ginagamit nila para mas maging delicious yung dishes nila in other countries. Same with us. Yan. So, ano ba yung nutritive value ng eggs? Eggs are indeed one of nature's complete food. So, bakit kaya tinawag siya na nature's complete food? As a matter of fact, if mahilig kayong mag-diet, kumain lang daw kayo ng isang itlog sa isang araw, parang complete meal na yon. Okay? So, nagiging complete meal na siya. Bakit kaya? Tingnan natin. It contains high-quality protein with all the essential amino acids, all of the vitamins except vitamin C and many minerals. Ayan. So, pinaka-content ng egg is the protein. Kaya nga, pwede siyang replacement sa meat. Like for example, hindi kayo mahilig kumain ng meat. Or, mataba naman kayo and you like eating meat, pero gusto nyo mag-diet. So, you can change or substitute meat or the eggs for meat. Pwede kayong kumain ng itlog, tapos yung meat, i-set aside nyo na lang muna, forget nyo na muna kumain ng meat, kasi the same nutrient ang makukuha nyo naman sa kanya. It's a protein food. Okay? And then, another important thing is that it contains all vitamins and many minerals, except daw for vitamin C. So, wala tayong makukuhang vitamin C sa egg, pero iba't ibang klase ng vitamins meron siya. So, diba, full packed na yung itlog. Egg products are particularly good for fortifying foods low in protein quality, except for mother's milk. Yan. Ayan. So, yan. Yan ang pinaka-importansya or pinaka-health benefit ng pagkain ng itlog. Ayan. So, dapat kayo din, you should eat eggs. Yan. Next. Okay. So, tapos na tayo sa learning outcome 1. We now proceed with the learning outcome 2. What is that? Prepare and cook egg dishes. At the end of the lesson, you're expected to identify the market forms of eggs, Second, explain the uses of eggs in culinary. And third, cook egg dishes with appropriate taste and seasoned in accordance with the prescribed standard. Ayan. So, let's proceed. Now, we have different market forms of eggs. So, ano ba yung sinasabing market forms? When you say market forms, ito yung mga usually products or egg products na pwede nating bilhin in the market. Okay, first is fresh eggs or shell eggs. Fresh eggs. Shell eggs may be purchased individually by dozen or in trays of 36 pieces. So, ito yung pinaka-common actually. Okay, di ba? Bumibili yung mga parents natin, yung mommies natin, yung mama natin bumibili ng mga fresh eggs. As in, yung breakable pa. So kapag bibili kayo, kailangan yung ilagay siya sa tray para hindi siya mabasag. Kasi once mabasag siya, so it will be useless na. Kawawa naman. Sayang yung pera ninyo. Ayan. So, nakikita nyo dyan sa picture, it's a fresh is an example of fresh eggs. Okay po. Ayan. So, sa tindahan, pwede kayong bumili individual. Sa mga groceries, usually, they are packed by dozen or when you say by dozen, 12 pieces. And then, in trays, kung isang tray ang bibili ninyo, 36 pieces. And it also varies, egg also varies in sizes. Iba-ibang yung size. And because of that, iba-iba din yung presyo. Like for example, if yung small size lang, mas mura. And then, if yung medium size, medyo mahal-mahal. And then, yung large eggs, usually, sila yung pinakamataas yung price doon sa tatlong sizes na nabanggit po ni ma'am. Next, we have frozen eggs. Ayan. So, kanina, fresh. Ngayon naman, second is frozen. Made of high-quality fresh eggs, they come in the form of whole eggs with extra yolk and whites. Frozen eggs are pasteurized and must be thawed before use. So, madali lang po ang ibig sabihin ng frozen eggs. So, sila yung nilagay sa sa freezer, which is mas mataas yung temperature, mas mababa kasi malamig. Diba? Kapag mas mataas, mainit. Kapag mas malamig, mas mababa ang temperature, which causes it to form or to solidify. Ibig sabihin, nagiging frozen siya. Okay po. So, bakit may mga eggs na kailangang i-frozen? Para mag-last yung life niya, mas matagal. Like for example, kung fresh eggs siya, usually, ang lifespan niya is only parang mga 1 week lang. After several days, hindi na yan pwedeng, usually may hangin na yan, kaya madali na yang mabulok. Kapag frozen, so, mas mahaba yung lifespan niya. Ayan. So, yan nakakabili tayo. Pwede tayong makabili ng frozen eggs. Next, the third market form is dried eggs. Are seldom used. Yan. Their whites are used for preparing meringue. Dried eggs are used primarily as ingredients in food industry. They are not commonly sold directly to consumers. Ayan. So, very clear, hindi tayo nakakabili-bili ng basta-basta ng mga dried eggs. So, hindi yan masyadong hinahanap dito sa market. Usually, sa mga malalaking company who are doing catering or yung mga restaurants, sila yung gumagamit nun. Pero very seldom lang. When you say dried eggs, powderized na siya. Nakikita nyo sa picture. It is powderized. Ayan. Kaya, dried eggs. Next. Okay, after learning the market forms, we now proceed with the uses of eggs in culinary. Ano ba yung gamit ng eggs? First, cooked and served as is. Yan. In the shell, soft cooked, 5 minutes simmering, or hard cooked, 15 minutes simmering. So, when you say cooked and served as is, so, niluto niyo siya nang wala kayong nilagay na any other ingredients. Kumbaga, siya yung pinaka-main ingredient sa dish ninyo. So, when you say in the shell, parang the dish is hard-boiled. Okay, hard-boiled or soft-boiled eggs, nilaga lang in the shell kasi nandun pa siya sa kanyang shell. Pangalawa, poach. Cooked in simmering water, addition of salt and vinegar hastens coagulation. When you say poached egg naman, it is cooked in simmering water. So, hindi siya in the shell. Bakit? Kasi, brinake nyo na siya. Kinuha nyo na lang yung, inalis nyo siya sa shell. And then, binuhos mo siya doon sa simmering water or so mainit na tubig para maluto siya. The result, if I'll try to teach you how to make poached eggs, pero if you're going to research it, ang kakalabasan niya is like fried eggs, pero mas tender po siya, mas tender ang poached egg. Yung egg yolk niya is, anong tawag doon? Is runny. Hindi luto yung egg yolk niya. Pero yung egg white, it's very cooked. Yan. Next, fried. Keep low to moderate temperature. So, fried eggs, yan, fried eggs, definitely, alam nyo na yun. Pritong itlog. Marunong na kayo. And then, scrambled, alam nyo na din. Marunong kayo mag-scrambled egg. Yan. Hindi siya in the shell ha, kasi inalis nyo yung shell. Kapag mag-scramble kayo, hindi kasama yung egg shell. And then, omelette. Yan, or omelette. Next, eggs as emulsifier. Yan, emulsifier, lecithin and lysolecithin are responsible for the remarkable ability of egg yolk to act as an emulsifying agent. Both are phosphoproteins containing polar and nonpolar ends such that the polar end holds water while the nonpolar ends holds the fat, thus prevent oil droplets in suspension from coalescing. Yan. So, egg as emulsifier, if alam nyo po kung paano gumawa ng mayonnaise, one of the ingredient of mayonnaise is the egg yolk and then oil. Ayan. So, yung purpose ng egg doon is it acts as an emulsifier. So, parang hindi mag-separate yung oil sa egg yung oil sa gagawing mayonnaise. So, kailangan merong egg yolk. Okay? It acts as emulsifier. So, one of the best example of using egg as an emulsifier is the making of mayonnaise. And, of course, mayroon tayong mga sauces na gumagamit ng egg yolk. Like, for example, yung hollandaise sauce, the purpose of egg yolk then doon is it acts as an emulsifier. Yan. As binding, thickening agent, and gelling agents. Eggs are useful as binding, thickening, pampakapal. Binding, parang hindi ma-hold yung parts into one, hindi mag-separate. Thickening, pampakapal, and gelling agents because they contain proteins that are easily denatured by heat. Using whole eggs requires lower coagulation temperatures, resulting in a stiffer gel. Addition of sugar raises coagulation temperature, producing softer, weaker gel. Ayan. So, one of the example of dish that uses eggs as binding is parang yung gumagawa tayo ng mga meat, ano yun, yung bola-bola, meatballs. Yan. Diba? We usually add egg doon para it will bind. Yan, parang mag-hold together yung mga giniling na meat. So, thickening agent naman, pampakapal, we use egg. Like, for example, in making egg soup. Ayan. So, ang purpose niya doon is as thickening agent. Yan. Dito sa example, sa picture na nilagay ko, it is what's this? Custard or leche flan. So, the purpose of the eggs in leche flan is for gelling. So pakikita nyo parang Diba yung leche flan, it looks like a jelly. Kasi yun yung purpose ng egg yolk doon. Pero in making leche flan, you can make egg yolk lang or you can use whole eggs. Okay? Next, as a foam. As a foam. Okay? When egg is beaten, albumin is denatured. Air is incorporated as white is stretched into thin films. With continued beating, the air cells are subdivided and volume is being developed. Ayan, so nakikita nyo dyan sa picture ko, it's a meringue. So when you say as a foam, one of the best example of this one is making cakes. Yan. So kapag gagawa tayo ng cakes, gagamit tayo ng egg whites. And the purpose of egg white there is to become foamy, para magkaroon ng volume or para tumaas, to leaven the cake. Okay, so yung air doon, it incorporates and then siya yung magiging yung ginawa nating meringue, yun yung magiging body ng cake. Kasi nga, it will leaven or papataasin niya yung cake. So, yun yung purpose ng foam. Next, as coloring and flavoring agent. Ayan. So, of course, commonly, in cooking, okay, like for example, when you are going to cook at home, usually, ang eggs, ginagamit natin siya as flavoring. Diba? Magisa ngayon kita, ang palaya lagan ta ngayang bunay. It will add taste, okay, flavoring agent, additional ingredient. Dito sa example ko, it's an egg pie. So, kaya nga tinawag na egg pie kasi the main flavor of that kind of dish is yung egg. Yan. Alright, so we're now down to the second to the last what's this? Slide. We have egg dishes. Eggs cooked in a shell. Yan. So, very easy lang naman ang eggs cooked in a shell. Ano lang yan? Ang ibig sabihin lang yan, it's either hard-boiled eggs or soft-cooked eggs in a shell. Ibig sabihin po, hindi natin inalis yung shell. Niluto natin ng bilog. Bilog, as in, nilagay natin sa tubig, niluto siya. Kaya tinawag siya eggs cooked in a shell. So, ang eggs should only be simmered and not boiled to prevent overcoagulation. Okay? Which would cause the eggs to be tough. Kasi kapag nasobrahan ng boil or ng pagpapalaga ang itlog, magiging tough siya. So, dapat, we should follow the required minutes of cooking. Like, for example, if you want to have a soft-cooked eggs, soft cook lang, parang yung egg yolk, hindi pa siya masyadong luto, you can cook it for about 5 minutes. Okay? Or minsan nga, lower pa. Pero, kung mga hard-boiled, pinakamatagal na po ang 20-25 minutes. Okay? Yan, lutong-luto talaga yan. Next is the eggs prepared out of the shell. Okay. Eggs prepared out of the shell. Wala ng shell. Kaya makikita nyo dyan sa picture ko, that is an example of poached eggs. Yan, makikita nyo yung egg yolk, hindi siya luto. Okay, pero yung egg white, it's cooked and it coats the egg yolk. Yan. This method involves breaking the egg and using both the yolk and white during cooking. Poaching, frying, and the process of making scrambled eggs or omelette are some of the common methods done. So, yun po ang iba't ibang way or iba't ibang egg dishes. It's either cooked in the shell or eggs prepared out of the shell. Okay po? Yan. So, as we go on with our lessons, yan. So, gagawa naman ulit ako ng isang video lessons. I am going to show to you different ways of cooking eggs. Yan. Different examples. Baka ako mismo yung magluto or I might get different videos from other teachers who are also doing similar things like this one, okay, pwede ko siyang i-present sa inyo so that you will learn how to cook. And then part of your performance activity is you are going to cook one egg dish. Or, tingnan natin, I'll just send to you your activities through the learning activity sheets, and then gawa ulit ako ng ganitong video. So, I hope everyone, you learned something from this video. Okay po. And then, if you have questions, please just PM me in Messenger so that I can answer you back. Ayan po. Thank you so much, students. Bye-bye.